to begin, why don't you guys just grab a seat really quick? Just take your journals with you. We'll chat for a little bit. We got a good amount of time, so we can.
Where at?
Wherever you're comfortable there, big man.
Oh, over here. They're over here.
But you got to be able to see the whiteboard.
Where's the okay?
Okay. So we haven't really talked about hitting at all, which we're obviously going to cover tonight. Okay, so we'll go over some mechanical things, and we'll go over some mental and approach things. Does that make sense to everybody? And then we'll go ahead and get in the cage and start to drill and do that type of stuff. Okay. So just to begin, and it could be about mechanics, approach, just anything. Just by raising a hand, anything that you guys believe in or have learned or know about hitting. Is there anything general? Yeah.
Keeping your eye on the ball.
Keeping your eye on the ball. Keeping your eye on the ball. Is that it? That's the only thing we know is to keep our eye on the ball.
Guys, and be involved. Be involved. Let's go.
What was that?
Drive through the ball.
Drive
Hey,
through
Harry.
the ball. Very good.
Just have a seat, brother. How you doing? Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing, man?
Use your lower body, then your upper body.
Use your lower body, then your upper body. Okay.
Fall
Cooper.
through after you swing.
Follow through after you swing.
Stride.
Stride. Okay.
What about the stride, though? Long stride, short stride. Talking about when you're swinging. I mean, when you're short.
Just like, we want to put it like they're stepping on eggshells.
Okay.
Stepping on eggshells,
Okay.
like
Good.
that. Okay. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so we kind of narrow it down to 4 things, and then within those 4 things are smaller details. Okay. The first thing, and I'll just go ahead and write these down as we go through this, is the first thing that we like to talk about is timing and rhythm. Okay. So making sure that we're on time to hit the pitch. Timing. Sorry if you can't read my handwriting. Okay. And rhythm. That's number 1. Why is that important? Why is that important at all?
Oh, you got one? Okay.
Help you hit the ball? Okay, good, Zach. What if we're on time, does it give us the best chance to hit the ball?
Yes.
Okay, if we're late, do we have a good chance of hitting the ball square?
No.
If we're early? No. Okay, so simply put is if we're on time, we have the best chance to hit the baseball. Does that make sense? Why is rhythm important?
So you're not uncomfortable?
So you're not uncomfortable? Okay, anything else? Do we want to have rhythm as a defensive player, or do we want to be stiff? We want to have rhythm, right? Okay. At the plate, we want to have rhythm so we can get into an easy position to hit. If we're standing here stiff, it's like this. Okay, what happens to our muscles? They tighten up, right? So we want to be able to have a nice, loose, easy rhythm and then be on time. That makes sense to everybody? Having a good rhythm allows you to use your muscles the right way and properly and be relaxed and loose. Okay, timing does what? Like we just talked about, what does timing do?
Helps you hit the ball.
Huh?
Helps you hit the ball.
Helps you hit the ball? Yeah, go ahead.
Helps you hit it like square.
Helps you hit it square. This is what I would say gives you the best chance to hit it square. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to hit it square, but if you're not on time, you have a lower chance of hitting the baseball square. That makes sense? Okay? The number 2 thing for us is balance. Why is balance important?
So you don't fall over when you're trying to swing.
So you don't fall over? Okay? What does balance allow us to do? If we're balanced, do you think, I'm going to give it away, do you think we're in a strong position or a weak position if we're balanced?
Strong.
We're in a strong position, right? So if we're off balance once again, we have a lower chance of hitting the baseball square. If we're balanced, we have a better chance of hitting the baseball square with strength. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's just like the same defensive concepts that we've talked about of being athletic and balanced. So if I'm fielding the ball balanced, I have the best chance to field the baseball. Same thing at the plate. If I'm in a balanced position, I have a better chance of hitting the baseball square. Any questions with that? No? Okay, number 3 would be flat swing. Oh, what does that do? Speak up.
It gives you more time to hit the ball.
Gives you more time to hit the ball?
Your bat's in the zone for longer.
Say that one again.
Your bat's in the zone for longer.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That's a great answer right there, because that's going to lead into number 4. Okay, but no, like I said, flat swing, like Zach said, I should say, gives us the best chance to hit through the baseball. Okay, and if we have a flat swing, excuse me, what do you think the trajectory of the baseball will be? Straight on a line, right? Okay, if we have an uphill swing, where do you think the trajectory is going to be? Up, right? Makes sense to everybody? Okay, if we have a really downhill swing, what's going to happen? There's 2 things. A ground ball, and then the other one, does anybody play golf at all? Okay. Have you ever seen someone hit a lob shot, a golfer hit a lob shot before? Ball goes straight up. What do their hands do? What was that? Okay. Kind of. What happens when they hit a lob shot is their hands go straight down to the ball. A steep angle. And the ball goes up. Okay, when our hands go steep, just like that, the ball's going to go up. It's the exact same concept. Okay, it's either going to go straight up like that or straight into the ground. Okay, and then number 4, which Zach already got to, was through the baseball. And we're going to talk about that in the cage as well. What does that mean? Yeah. Okay. It's pretty vague. Follow through, is that what I heard? Okay. Anybody else? Awesome. Great answer right there. Stay through the zone as long as far as we can. So simply put, and you'll see inside, the plate is 18 inches long from front to back. So what that means is my bat enters the plate, enters the zone, okay, and it's on line and through the ball all the way through those 18 inches. Does that make sense? And this, to me, number 4 and number 2 are the most important things to me. Okay? But being through the baseball, what does that enable us to do? It kind of goes along with the flat swing. What was that? Hit it solid? Does anybody know what it does to the ball? Creates backspin, right? And what does backspin do? Makes it rise or makes it carry. If we're not through the baseball, let's say we cut it off, what's that going to do to the ball? It's either going to flare or topspin, right? Okay, somebody come on up here really quick. Go ahead and get to your contact point. Just go ahead and face that way. Just a quick illustration on through the ball. Gets to his contact point. If he's getting through the ball, how much, do you see how long the baseball would be on his bat? Okay, let's see how long the ball will be on your bat if you're cutting it off now. Go ahead and get to there. Your hands start to work that way. See the difference there? You think we want to have the ball on the bat a little bit longer? Probably, right? That makes the most sense. So that's one of the most important things, and that's something that we talk about every day, is being through the ball. Okay, now what happens with that, there's a specific term for through the ball that you might hear me say. It's called extension. Has anybody ever heard extension before? What does that mean? It's basically the same thing. Extend your arms, right? So getting through the ball is the same thing as extending our arms. Okay? So those four things are the biggest things that we cover mechanically. And then in those categories, there's little subcategories that we won't necessarily go over just for the sake of time, so we can hit. Okay, but those are the four major categories that we have just purely mechanical wise. Okay? Now the next part would be on the mental side, or the mentality side of being a hitter. Okay, so there's a few things that we like to talk about when it comes to our approach. The mental side is the same thing as an approach. Okay, if you hear me say it, approach or mentality, it's the exact same thing. Okay? Number one, in your approach, is I should have wrote these a little bit smaller, but let's see if I can do this over here. Number one would be know what kind of hitter you are. Why is that important? Anybody? We're all just focused on writing down?
It would help to know what kind of hitter you are, so,
If I'm a guy that doesn't have very much power, okay, as opposed to a guy that hits a lot of home runs, you think that changes what kind of pitches I look for,
yeah,
or what I'm trying to do?
it would also help because you would have to know like where to hit it.
Okay. Yep. So for me, I was more of a contact or a skill guy. Bunt, hit and run, all those different things. I wasn't a power guy. Okay? So the number one thing is know what kind of hitter you are. And here's the thing, guys. If you don't hit home runs, doesn't matter. If you hit home runs, that's fine too. It really doesn't matter. As long as you embrace what kind of hitter you are, you'll be fine. Okay? You can't look upon somebody else as being a better hitter because they hit home runs and you don't. Make sense? Okay?
Coach?
Yeah.
Can you go into just a little detail on that, where let's say that we have a couple of guys on our team that are not home run hitters. What are they looking for? And the power hitters, because you have the 1, 2, 3, then you have your 4, 5, 6, 7 power hitters, and then you have your follow-up guys that are also fast and can hit hard. But what do you mean? What kind of pitches should they be looking for? Give me an example of what you were looking for.
Yeah, and the thing that we're going to follow up with that too is number 2 would be exactly what Mike's talking about, is know what you're looking for.
Okay.
Okay? So number 1, if we know what kind of hitter we are, then we're going to know what we're looking for, know what we want to swing at. I don't have my freaking squirt bottle, that's alright though. Know what you're looking for. I'll say know what pitch to hit. Sorry, it's kind of a mess. So like Mike was saying, if I'm a home run hitter, well, let's say a contact hitter first. If I'm a contact hitter, what do you think my approach should be?
A line drive.
Hit a line drive? Okay, so let me rephrase that. What kind of pitch should I try and hit? If I'm a line drive contact hitter. Fastball? Okay. Where? How about where? On the plate. In the middle? Middle away? Middle in?
Where you can hit best.
Where you can hit best? Good? Now this is what I would say with this. With my approach, I looked for middle to middle in because I knew that if I looked middle away, or at least early in the count, the only thing that I could do with that pitch was hit a single. I didn't have enough power to hit the ball in the right center gap. Okay? So for me, the only time that I felt like I was going to hit with enough authority is if I hit the ball in the middle to the middle in. That makes sense? So the biggest thing for me would be if I got a pitch on the middle away part early in the count, so less than 2 strikes, I wouldn't swing at it. Do you know why that would be?
Because you can get a better pitch.
Because you can get a better pitch, good.
You can get a pitch that you can hit harder, like a double.
Exactly. Good answer. Okay. There'd be one more thing too. In my mind as a hitter, okay, the percentages of me just getting a base hit and rolling, or not, I shouldn't say rolling over, getting out on that pitch, getting out was way higher than getting a hit. Okay? And that's not to say that I wasn't a good hitter, but to me it made more sense to take that pitch and get something else that I could hit with authority. Okay? There was, in my mind, there was no reason to try and hit a single, okay, and risk getting out, and the only reward of that was just getting 1 base. That makes sense? Okay, and the other thing was, is if I took that pitch and it was a ball, then I let the guys behind me who were better hitters, okay, and if I got on base with a walk, that was just the exact same thing as a single. There's no difference to me. Okay? So if you're a contact guy, you have to know what pitch you're looking for. And for me, with less than 2 strikes, I looked middle to middle in. A lot of people will say we look away to in, which is correct. Okay, but you have to weigh the reward of hitting a single if you guys are just a contact guy, as opposed to risking just getting out on a pitch that you can't hit. With authority, I should say. Okay?
And then, coach, at 2 strikes, obviously they're opening up and just hitting anything in the zone, right?
Yep. Okay? Yeah, what were you going to say?
Like, what if you, like, in between, like, you get on base a lot, but you can also hit a home run from time to time?
Okay, then I'd stay with the same approach of a contact guy. Okay? And really, as a power hitter, should there be that much of a difference? Not really, right? Because power hitters are still looking for something to drive. Okay? Now here's the only difference with power hitters. Well, it's not even a huge difference. Okay? If you're trying to be a power hitter, you have to know that you're going to have to take strikes. Does anybody know what I mean by that?
Nick does.
What is it, Nick? If you hit for power, you have to know that you're going to take strikes.
Remember when you were getting up there and you're a power hitter and you're getting up there and you were swinging at anything close in the first strike because you were aggressive, and how you were popping up, or what did you do to fix it, and then what happened?
Took my time.
Took your time, took your pitch, and then what happened?
I hit line drives.
Okay. And I think, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we're talking about here is everybody hits differently. Everybody has different bodies, different speed, different strengths. So you guys know your back. You guys know your path. You guys know what you can hit. Be picky on the first pitch, okay, on a pitch that you know you can hit well. After that, open up and open up.
Yep. Okay, but the other thing that I would say for power hitters is why do you think it'd make more sense to see more pitches?
Wait, what was the question?
If you're a power hitter, why does it make sense to see more pitches? Especially at lower levels. Let me just ask you this. Do you think pitchers will be able to locate all the time? Locate really good pitches all the time? No? So if you see more pitches, do you think the percentage of them making a mistake and give you a good pitch goes up? Yep. Okay, that's why it's important to be selective as a power hitter. Because all it takes is one pitch, one swing. Does that make sense to you guys?
Because if they're at 1 and 2, they've got to make a choice as a pitcher. Do I bring it into the zone, or do I give him a ball and walk him?
Yep.
And so that gives you the advantage if you're waiting and looking, right?
Yep. Okay. And then the last thing, and I'm going to write this down. I'm kind of mad I forgot my spray bottle. I'll have to go get that. Is know the situation. Okay, so there's 3 knows. Know what kind of hitter you are. Know what pitch to hit or know what you're looking for. Then know the situation. Okay. Obviously, if you're down by 10 runs, do you think you'd want to swing at the first pitch of the inning or the first pitch of your at bat? If you're down by a lot? Probably not.
No.
Okay? You want to be able to make the guy throw strikes, not just give up or give him free outs. That makes sense? Okay? If we're hitting with a runner at third base with less than 2 outs, let's say the infield's in, just theoretically, do you think we want to swing at a pitch that's low? No? What do you think we should look for? Pitch down the middle or that's high that we can hit on a line or drive to the outfield. That makes sense to you guys? So know what kind of hitter you are, know what pitch to hit or know what you're looking for, and know the situation. So as we go tonight, okay, these 2 things you guys need to identify you guys need to make sure you identify by the time we're done tonight. Okay, I want everybody to know what their base approach is, what pitch you're looking to hit all the time, just as 0-0 count. And then most importantly, know what kind of hitter you are. Okay, and don't try and be tough and say, oh, I'm a big power hitter, all this stuff. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I'd take a guy that would hit 450 with 1 home run than a guy that struck out all the time and hit a few bombs. That makes sense to you guys? Okay. Are there any questions with that? No? Okay, so we'll just go over a few. I'll just riddle off a few things for you guys and then we'll start to hit. Okay? And these are kind of our hitters outlines, so we can go through this a little bit and then we'll start to hit.
Coach,
Make sense?
before we start to hit, do you plan on breaking down
The swing?
the swing?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so to kind of build off of these things, the number 1 thing that we want to do when we get in the box is to try and gain a competitive advantage against the pitcher. Okay? That's the one thing that we have to do as soon as we get into the box. If we have an advantage against him, what do you think the percentages of us having a good at bat are? A lot higher, right? How do we get a competitive advantage against the pitcher?
Watch to see if you can see a difference between his fastball mechanics and curveball.
Okay, good. What was that?
Oh, just
Go ahead, say it. I heard it. Bento, right? Said Bento? Yeah.
getting the mental advantage.
He's been reading that book.
There we go.
Chapter 5 now.
You're on chapter 5. Wow, good for you, man. Doing good. You guys need to catch up. Okay? The number 2 thing would be get good pitches to hit. If we get good pitches to hit, that's an advantage in our favor, right? If we swing at bad pitches, okay, the favor sways more towards the pitcher. Okay? Now, like I said earlier, with knowing what pitch you want to hit and knowing what kind of hitter you are, I want you guys to understand this right now. And as you get older, it gets harder, but pitchers will make mistakes. Pitchers will make a lot of mistakes. Especially at the age that you guys are at, you guys are going to get more good pitches to hit than you would at the Division I level. Okay? So understand that right now, is that if you go up and you get a fastball down the middle that you took, just understand that he's probably going to make another mistake somewhere along the line. Okay? Now we can't give up, we can't be swinging at, or we can't be missing too many mistakes though, right? Got to be able to identify a good mistake pitch to hit and go for it. Ah, this is one of my favorite. And maybe some pitchers will deny this, is most pitchers are afraid of the bat. Do you know what that means? You don't believe that?
You try to get pop up or do something, not trying to track down.
Okay. Close, yeah. So you're saying that the pitchers aren't afraid of the hitter?
You're trying to let them hit it.
Okay. Good. So percentages, even at our level, a lot of pitchers are afraid to throw inside, to throw to hitters, to give up hits. So with that being said, that means a lot of pitchers will end up throwing tentatively. So there's no reason for you guys to not be confident in that. If they throw tentatively, what happens? Do you think we're going to get more mistakes?
What do you mean tentatively?
Like they don't want to give up a hit. They don't want to give up a home run. Oh, I don't want to hit this guy.
So they throw.
They're going to throw your pitch.
Not in the plate.
Yep.
It's more balls, right?
Yep. More balls or more mistakes? That makes sense to you guys? Okay, the next thing I would say is there's 3 things that can get you guys out as hitters. What are they? Think about it. Pretty easy, I think. Yeah?
Pop-ups, grounders, strikeouts.
Close.
What was your question?
There's 3 things that can get you out as a hitter. What are they? And they're actually vague answers. It's not that detailed.
Missing a pitch.
Okay? That's actually one of the right answers. Okay? It's just phrased a little differently. I'll give them to you, okay? The first one would be the pitch. If it's a good pitch, it can get you out, right? That's a very simple one. The next thing would be the defense. Obviously, the defense can get you out. The last thing, does anybody know what the last thing would be? Yourself. There we go. Awesome. Yourself. That's the third thing that can get you out, is yourself. Okay? What I would say to you is make the defense get you out. Make the defense get you out. Don't let yourself get yourself out, as weird as that sounds. Make sense? How do we do that? How does that happen? How do we get ourselves out?
Go in your head.
What was that?
Start thinking in your head.
Start thinking in your head.
Having no balance.
Having no balance, okay? If we don't know what kind of hitter we are, we're probably going to get ourselves out. If we don't know what pitch to swing at, we're probably going to get ourselves out. Okay? If we don't know what the situation is, we're probably going to get ourselves out. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay? So those are the things that we'll kind of build on a little bit more as we go through the winter. Okay? But those are pretty basic things for right now. But I want you to make sure that you're taking those with you this weekend and actually understanding that and using it. Yeah?
Will you say like rhythm again? Do rhythm real quick.
What about it exactly? Just
Like,
what does it do for us?
yeah.
Okay? Rhythm allows our muscles to work easy and fast and loose. Makes sense? And then rhythm allows us to be on time actually. So if we're really stiff, it's harder to be on time than it is if we're nice and rhythmic and loose and ready to hit. Make sense to you? Okay? Okay, so we're going to go over the mechanics now before we hit. So, timing and rhythm, pretty self-explanatory. So when we get in the box, and we'll talk about this a little more in depth later, when we're in a drill and hitting off the tee, the number one thing that I hate seeing is when guys get in there, look at the ball and hit it, look at the ball and hit it. That does nothing for you guys. Okay, number one, our timing is bad because we're not treating it game-like. How would we treat it game-like, even if it's off the tee? Yeah.
Pretend there's a pitcher out there.
Pretend there's a pitcher out there. Yeah.
Get ready, get balanced, do all the 4 things before you.
Yep. That's it. Okay? So tonight as we go, I don't ever want to see that happen tonight, especially now that I just covered that. Make sense to you guys? So when you get in the box, ready to hit, get your good timing, whatever your timing is. Okay, there's some guys that hit like this, some guys that hit like this, a little slower. Whatever your timing is and your rhythm is, make sure it's done before we go ahead and swing the bat. Make sense? You guys all clear on that? Okay. For balance, how many football and basketball players we got here? Maybe I've already used this on the defensive side. Pretty much everybody, that's good. So in football, as you're going to tackle a guy, would you tackle him standing straight up like this? Okay. Basketball, if you're guarding a guy, would you be standing like this? No. You'd be in a good, balanced, athletic position, right? Your strongest position that you can be in. As a hitter, do you think we want to be in our strongest position we can be in? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Okay? So as we get to the plate, we want to make sure we're balanced. The number one thing that we teach with our hitters is our balance starts with our legs. We want to keep our knees, our kneecaps between our feet, or between our toes. We don't ever want to have our kneecaps leak out to one side or the other. We want our knees between our feet. Okay? And the other way we say that, and I guarantee you'll say me hear it a couple times tonight, is to squeeze the basketball. Okay? We want to pretend like there's a basketball or volleyball between our legs, so we have good tension and strength between our legs, and we're able to use our lower half. That makes sense? Okay? If we break down in our balance at the very beginning, the rest of our swing is screwed up. That's the very first domino that's going to fall, is if we're off balance and then we take our swing, then the rest of it is just going to fall apart. Okay? So make sure you understand the importance of being balanced. Yeah?
Do you guys talk about K to K? Like at all?
A little bit. Okay? Knob to knee. Does everybody know what that is? Everybody heard of that? K to K? Where did you hear that from, by the way?
I had a batting coach this last winter.
Yeah? Kind of. And that's a little bit further down than we're talking about, so we'll get there. But as far as balance goes, like I said, we want to make sure we're squeezing the basketball between our legs. Okay? And the part that falls in with balance and timing and rhythm would be our stride. You said stride earlier. Okay? And what did you say about our stride? Okay? Now here's the thing, guys, is I see this all the time with young hitters, is when they stride, what does their front foot do? What was that? It goes forward, but how do they land? On their tippy toes? Is that good or bad? Bad. Anybody know why that's bad?
You get off balance.
You get off balance. You get off balance, and the other thing it does to us is we become rotational. We start to move our shoulders. And we'll talk about what that does with through the ball. Okay? But when we take our load and our stride, we have to stay balanced, and we do that by landing with the weight between our legs, squeezing the basketball on the balls of our feet, not on our tippy toes. Make sense? Now to add to the stride part of it is, do we want to stride really far or really short? What do we want to do?
Like baby steps?
Baby steps? This is what I would say, is I'd rather see you stride far than short. Anybody know why?
Momentum.
Momentum, okay. What were you going to say?
So like when you go stride farther, all your weight is being transferred to the ball.
Okay. Close. Good. The number one thing I would say with that is it gives our legs more room to work. Okay? Have you guys flinged a rubber band before? Flicked one? If you go this far back, is there much strength in that? Or is there going to be much force? No, right? If you go way far back, thing's probably going to snap, right? Okay, so if you go kind of in between the two, you're going to have more force behind that, right? It's going to come out hot. Okay, so as that pertains to our legs, if we stride about this far, there's no force for our legs to move. The only way that our legs can hit from this position is if our shoulders get out of the way. And that affects through the ball. Okay, if we get too far, we become off balance, and it affects through the ball and having a flat swing. Okay, but the reason why, like I said, the reason why I'd rather have you have a bigger stride is so that you can use your legs more. So if you guys start in here, that's fine. Get a little bigger stride so your legs can move. If my stride's right here, I have no chance for my legs to move at all. That makes sense? The only way they can is if my shoulders get out of the way. But you need to maintain squeezing the basketball as you stride. That makes sense? Any questions with that? Mike, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Can you show them what you mean with the basketball? Because if you're striding out here, keeping your knees together, then
Yep.
turning and having the basketball here, it's going to drop eventually because you're going to be up. But
Yeah. Yeah, so like Mike said, if we're doing this correctly, and we've done this drill, we did it when I was here hitting, and I struggled with it. At the end of our swing, if we're doing it right, okay, the basketball should fall right between our legs, should fall straight down. If we're not, if we're back in this area, falls that way, we're not doing it right. We're not having good balance, and we're not using our legs properly. Make sense?
Coach, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Can you get back in that position you were in? And
Yeah.
everybody take a look at his front knee. Got a couple kids locking out their front knee at the very end and actually
Very
coming
end.
up like this. So why do you have it bent just a little bit, and what's your reasoning behind that? And
At the beginning,
yeah, well, no, when you're coming through the ball, do you lock it out? Are you over your leg? Where are you at? Where's the balanced position to be there?
so your head should always be over the middle of your body. As obvious as that sounds, we should never have our head moving over our front foot. Okay? So that means our front leg has to stop our body from moving forward. Okay? Now to me it doesn't really matter if our leg is stiff or we have a little bend in it. All that matters is it stops us from moving forward. That makes sense to you guys? So you can hear people, hold on one sec. You can hear people, anybody heard say, hit off a firm front side? Have you guys ever heard that before? No? Okay, all that means is my front leg can either be stiff, can lock out, and I still hit that way, or it can be a little bent, and I still hit against it. That makes sense? As long as it stops us from moving forward. It can be bent just a little bit, not like this, just a little bit, or locked. Whatever's going to stop you from moving your weight forward. Okay?
So, Coach, where do you want to be when you're finished with your swing as far as where your belly button is and your core? Do you want to be on top of your front leg, behind a little bit, more in the center? Could you show us?
You want to be behind your front leg and just right in the middle most of it. Let me get this way a little bit.
Could you go and come through your swing and show us?
Yeah. Okay, so just slow motion wise. Okay, get to balance, make contact, finish.
So your toes up,
Yep.
but you're not over your front leg. You're back just a little bit,
Yep.
center just a little bit forward, right?
Yep, and then if you guys can see, my head is just a little bit in front of my backside, and it should be just right down the middle of our body. We don't want to get this way too much. We don't want to get that way too much. That makes sense?
And I think
Does
we
that
can,
answer?
yeah, totally. And I think we can note how far your legs were apart too. They weren't real close together. They had good distance.
Yep. Create that tension in there. I promise, guys, we're going to start hitting soon. So hang in there. Okay, flat swing. If we're not balanced, we can't have a flat swing. Pretty simple. Okay? And like we said earlier, flat swing allows us to be through the baseball. So, from our stride to land, where do our hands go now to get into a flat swing? Do they go this way? Do they go this way? What happens? There's a specific terminology that we use here that's pretty similar to everywhere else.
Is it short, too long through? Or?
Short, too long through, but we call it getting our hands to the slot. Some people call it launch point, we call it the slot. Okay, and all the slot is when we land and our backside starts, our hands get towards our hips. Okay, they don't get all the way down here. They're in tight by our hips, and that allows us to just drop the barrel on the ball. That makes sense? Kind of? Everybody clear on that? So if we get our hands and our elbow into the slot, this would be the slot position right here. My backside started, my elbow's in tight by my hip, okay, and my hands are in a good position inside the baseball. Make sense?
Now, Coach, we've had some other hitting coaches say start with your ears, but maybe that's coming too much far down to the ball. Where do you teach people to start your hands at?
To be honest with you, I tell people just to simplify it, start by their ear, and as they take their load, just push their hands right back. Okay, because if your hands start right here, this is too steep to go down. You might be able to get flat, but you're not going to be able to get through the ball. Okay, I'm not a huge believer for young guys and their hands to load this way. I want their hands to be right here by their ear, and as they take their stride to load, they just push their hands back just slightly. So there's some separation here so we can get our hands into the slot. That makes sense? This is too steep, because the only way we can get our hands into the slot is go down and then go around, and that's really slow. Okay, and the separation and load, it's the exact same concept as the rubber band. If we go too far back, gonna snap. If we go right here, we don't have any force behind it. Make sense? Okay, so the last part, we've gotten the slot, we're starting to make contact, and we're trying to get through the baseball. Okay? I'm making contact, what do my hands do? You saw it a little earlier with Tyrese. They extend through, they push through, right? Okay? Now here's the thing about it. Ideally, where do we want to make contact? What position do we want to make contact in with our hands? I hope somebody noticed this with my swing.
Get a power V.
Good answer. Okay? Some people call it the power V, some people call it the power L. It doesn't really matter. Okay? We'll just stick with the power V if that's easy for you guys. Because we want to make contact where we're making a V shape. Does everybody see that? So if I'm making contact right here, I'm in tight, in a V shape, or an L, basically the same thing. Why is that?
Then you can extend through.
Then you can extend through, right? Okay. Now this is how I would let you know if you're doing it the right way. Okay. If you're making contact, you should be able to lift a bicep curl basically in that position. If you're making good contact, you should be able to lift the bicep curl in that position. Okay? So we're in a good strength position right there. We should be able to just do a bicep curl. If we're making contact out here, that's going to be a little bit more awkward and difficult, right? Why do we want to be in that position though? Besides the pushing through. Kind of gave it away with the bicep curl. Because you have more strength, right? You want to be in a stronger position at contact. Does that make sense to everybody? Now the last part of extension would be what happens if, now this kind of contradicts making contact right here. Let's just say we get out in front. Why is it important to have extension or through the ball? That's the only chance we get to hit the ball in the barrel. If we're out in front and we're not through the ball, we're going to whiff or just miss it. Or just foul it off. Okay, if we're out in front and our hands are working on the plane of the ball and all the way through the plate, we still have a chance to hit the ball in the barrel. It might not be hit as hard, but we still have a better chance to hit the ball in the barrel if we're through than we're not. Okay? And the last thing I'll say about extension is if we don't use our legs properly, we can't get fully extended. And you guys will see this drill-wise in there as we go. Okay? And all I mean by that is if my legs get to right here and I don't get all the way through with my backside, I might get extended, but that's not very far, right? Watch the difference. If I use my legs all the way, look how much more coverage I have with that. It's a big deal. We all clear on that? Are there any questions? Okay, so the objective tonight, though, would be to know what kind of hitter you are by the time you leave. Know what kind of hitter you are, and know what kind of approach you're going to have, what you're looking for. That makes sense? So you guys can go ahead and put your journals down, grab your bats. We've got baseballs in there.